Hello, happy people, and welcome to the Happy Hour. This is your happy hour where I jump in and share a little idea, concept, or theme for 10 minutes and allow you to go away with your journal and spend a little bit of time with yourself. And today, the title of the Happy Hour is Happy Disruptions. And welcome to anybody who is new to my personal page. I'm Ali Mortimer. I'm a life, love, and happiness coach, and I'm here to help people in some of their darkest of times when life happens, and to help you or anybody else in your world create happiness, simple happiness in really highly complicated times. So today, let's get to it, shall we? It's a slightly different theme this week. Normally I come in with ways in which to create an abundance of happiness. But really this week has been on the back of, or this week's happy hour has been on the back of some very sad news last week. In fact, multiple phone calls that brought sadness into my life. And I really wanted to talk about the fact that it is okay for sadness, for anger, for frustration, for any of these very valid feelings to come in and disrupt your happiness, and to give you some ideas on how you can process some of these, I say in quotes, unwanted feelings, disrupting feelings to your happiness. You know, the things I'm talking about, sad news from maybe from a family member. You could have received sad news, devastating news like I did last week, and last week all I seemed to get was really sad news that really upset me and made me feel very sad, and I'm still feeling that this week. And I wanted to come in and share with you some of the things that I'm doing to help me process and navigate that. I did that last Friday. If you wanted to go and watch that, I gave 3 tips on how I was dealing with grief from losing my mum and losing a friend last week, very sadly. Today I wanted to talk to you about the spectrum of feelings. I know that it can be sometimes said that there is a duality of feeling. I've heard that term spoken about a lot, the kind of like flip side of one feeling, you know, the sadness to the opposition of happiness, perhaps peace versus anger. But my feeling is that there isn't ever really just one or two flip side dual feelings. There's a whole spectrum of feelings that we end up holding. And it's how can you hold all of those feelings after a specific life event. I think I go back to my story, for those of you who know or don't know. Through 2016 and 2017, I had a lot of disruption to my life. That was disruption in my marriage, disruption in losing my mum, and it was also disruption in moving home, leaving careers, my business flunked. There was so much that happened in one short space of time that I got to navigate a lot of feelings and a lot of loss all in one go. And I'm finding that last week, you know, the sense of loss has kind of like brought all of those feelings and all of those sensations of losses back to the front again. So it's not just grieving the one thing. I think for those of you who've ever been through that level of deep grief, it's when something else sad happens, it kind of like brings everything back up, and you have this huge kind of overwhelming sense of feeling. And it can really happen at any sense or any life event, whether that's big or whether that's small, whether it's a small disappointment, whether it's a loss of a promotion, whether it's a betrayal, whether it is a loss of somebody you love, whether it's as I said, like a small disappointment. It could be a big thing or a little thing, but there's still a sense of loss. You know, as I said, I had a career change, and that was navigating a huge sense of loss of identity. We moved, had a big significant move, and there was a loss of sense of friendship and connection and lifestyle and routine that went along with that. Loss of a loved one. I lost my mum far too soon. I mean, she had Alzheimer's, so it felt like I lost a little piece of her every time I saw her over the decade that she was fighting it, but then very suddenly to pneumonia in 2017. So it feels like it doesn't matter what the loss is, there's just always a feeling when it comes to loss. And what I was trying to describe with this spectrum of loss, and when I've been trying to navigate what the news that I got last week, when I was thinking about this duality of happiness and sadness, there was so much more that came up. Yes, there is deep sadness. that she's gone, but I'm also happy to have known her. I'm angry and frustrated because I don't know why her, there's that, but I'm also at peace because she's at peace and she's no longer in pain. There's the whole level of disbelief that she's actually gone. A little bit like how I felt with my mum, this whole feeling of, is that really true? Am I never going to see her again? And yeah, I found deep, deep comfort in my friends coming together and connecting and feeling the love that we all have for each other. So as I said, there's this huge spectrum that goes around one event, not just either or, and all of these feelings can come in and disrupt your happiness, whether that be anger and frustration and sadness and just all of these different things. And it's no wonder that in these periods of or life events that we can feel totally overwhelmed, because it isn't just this one feeling, it is so many feelings that we have to learn to navigate and process. And the thing that I wanted you to really know and take away from today is that there's no right or wrong in terms of your feelings. Thanks, V. There's no good and there's no bad feelings. There are just feelings. There are just the feelings that are, and no one can ever really take away those feelings from you. And also there's no comparison. My feelings against your feelings. They're just as your feelings, and they're so incredibly valid. And I recollect periods of time before I understood the principles of mindfulness, which is really awareness to understanding your feelings and looking at them with compassion and holding yourself in compassion without judgment. Whereas before, perhaps I would have just brushed it under the carpet. So British, don't want to be sad. Come on, move on. Denial, suppression. Don't look at that. Carry on. There's so many things I have to do. I'm a very, very important person in terms of my family and my profession. I've got to, put on a brave face, put on this mask and carry on. And I would never really allow myself to really feel those feelings. And it used to come back up and bite me. So for example, one time when I lost a baby and I was working away from home, I didn't allow myself to fully, properly grieve for the loss of this miscarriage. And I went back in and I started crying in front of a huge presentation to directors of, I think it was, Argos at the time. Very embarrassing because I hadn't actually dealt with all of that spectrum of feelings. So what I've come to learn, and this is the concept and the theme I want to share with you for you to go away, is to grab your journal. And every single day, whether you're feeling good or whether you're not feeling so good, whether you're feeling happy, whether you're feeling sad, whether you're feeling angry, whether you're feeling at peace, whatever it is, there's two questions I love to ask myself every single day so that I can live mindfully and be aware of how I'm feeling. And the first question I head up my journal with is, how am I feeling today? Just ask myself, how am I feeling? And it could be a simple answer, I'm feeling good today, and then that's okay. Or it could be, I'm feeling sad, so today I was just I'm still feeling so desperately sad today. So the second question then is, what do I need? Is there anything that I can do? Is there anything that I can say? What is going to help me? It's like asking myself, what do I need? It's like asking myself, treating myself as a child again. How can I help you? How can I help you? And I journal on that and I allow myself to bring forward the answers, especially in those sad and overwhelming times. However, if I'm happy, then it's like, then what is it that I desire to do today? I can tap into my sacral. I'm very much a generator who taps into her generator energy and ask myself, what do I want to do today? What do I desire? What's going to bring me pleasure? What's going to please me? And that can really help me just embrace those feelings. So that is the tip I wanted to share with you today, the tool and the technique. If you are finding that your happiness is being disrupted, this is a really great journaling technique. If you want to dive in further and really understand this spectrum of feelings and how you can navigate when you are dealing with so many feelings, as I said, the things that I'm going through at the moment is that, the happiness and the sadness, the anger and the peace, the frustration and yet the comfort, all of these things, it's helped me was when my therapist at the time when I was going through a difficult time shared with me the concept of the feeling wheel. It's all about naming the feelings and working out how you can move these feelings that are energies through your body without trapping them. So if you'd like to deepen this process and if you'd like to have the feeling wheel, then please let me know, drop me a DM. I'm actually going to put a link in my bio where you can get it. I also loved the poem by Rumi, which was called The Guest House. And I recorded a beautiful meditation on this, which was all about welcoming and honouring all of your feelings. Allow them all in as if they're coming into a guest house. The minute you start to trap or deny any of your feelings, they just get louder. So it's about inviting sadness in and letting it sit with happiness. Invite anger in and introduce it to peace. All of these feelings are so valid and they're your feelings, but it's about honouring them and working with them in order to move them through your house, which is your body, through your mind, through your heart, through your soul. And this can really help bring that sense of peace and enable you to live fully present in your life and return back to that feeling of lightness. The more of those heavier feelings you hold on to, the more trapped you can feel, the more stuck you can feel. It's just an unpleasant way. And if you'd like to get a copy of the feeling wheel, if you'd like a copy of my meditation, then please just do drop me a DM and I'll send you a link so you can access those. And I'm also going to pop it up into my link tree later on today, so you can come in and do that. One last thing I wanted to say. Both the feeling wheel and the guest house and this process of journaling, it can be a really great thing and a concept not only for you to embody, but also to share with your children if they are struggling with overwhelming feelings for whatever reason, because I think we fail to forget that sometimes our children also go through difficult life situations, and that sooner and the earlier we can teach them to honour their feelings, the better. And this has been one that I have used with both of my boys, so that there's no bad feelings in our family. There are just feelings that we talk about and honour and move through. So there we go. There are 3 things, I suppose, today. Go away and do your journaling. How am I feeling? What do I need today? Or what do I desire today? And then if you want to deepen this further and you want copies of the feeling wheel and Rumi's guest house meditation that I shared, please do get in touch and I will send that with you. And if you know anybody who's going through a difficult or particularly unsettling or upsetting time at the moment, please share this video with them, and I look forward to helping them as well. Lots of love. I'll see you later this week.